Good evening. I'm Dr. Jeff Bates. I came to this community in 1997 to do my residency at Scott and White Hospital. I've been serving the community as a hospice doctor for the last 15 years. My wife, Jennifer, is a hospice nurse in this community for the last 25 years and a nurse practitioner for the last 10 years. It was her dream that brought us here tonight. She told me families want to care for their loved ones at home, but sometimes they simply can't. Hospice provides incredible benefits: doctors, nurses, medications, equipment, but it does not cover your home, and it does not provide a 24/7 caregiver. That's the gap. That's where families struggle the most. 3 years ago, we began sharing the vision for a hospice house in Central Texas, and I said then, if God wants this, nothing will stop it. Well, God clearly wanted this. In just 2 years, our hospice house has cared for more than 140 patients, and thousands of family members and friends have walked through these doors. We believe this may be the fastest growing, most successful hospice house in the nation. But here's what's important to understand. This house is entirely donor supported. No government funding, no insurance payments, just the generosity of people like you. Our budget is simple, about $450,000 a year, almost all of it going to staff and general household expenses. Here's the amazing part. If 4,000 people gave $10 a month, we'd never need another fundraiser. If 4,000 businesses or families gave $100 a year, we'd be fully funded. That's all it takes to keep this house going, so that no family in Central Texas ever has to go on this journey alone. So tonight, as you enjoy this beautiful evening, remember, you're part of something miraculous. This house exists because of people like you. And now I'd like for you to hear from some of the families whose lives have been changed forever by our hospice house.
The amazing thing about the hospice house is that it is a gift to us in this community, and with no strings attached. I met Dr. Bates and Jennifer at church, and we formed a friendship there. I didn't realize what he was going to start being our hospice house, but later he shared it with me, and I certainly wanted to be part of that. My wife's brother, Jody Donaldson, had been in and out of healthcare facilities for about 10 years. It was getting toward the end, and we really didn't know what we were going to do. And then we heard through a friend about the hospice house, made contact. They had a room available, and we went over quickly. Some people are concerned about finances. Assisted living places and things can be extremely expensive. Jody's wife, Janet, was concerned about that. She expressed that. Well, when we first talked to the people at the hospice house, they explained to us that there was not a charge. There's not a charge. And they go, well, we're funded. As far as worrying about the cost, you don't have to worry about the cost. And that is incredible in this day and time. If you want to experience love and care in the last few days of your loved one's life, this is the place. If Jody was here today to talk to us about his experience, he would look at us and go, thank goodness you found the hospice house. And he would say that not just for himself and the care that he got, but he would say that because of the care we got from our angels here on earth at the hospice house, taking care of the entire family. It is an environment that is caring, it's faith-filled. You're surrounded by angels that are taking care of you and your loved one. It's an amazing gift to this community. It ministers to so many people, so many families, and it will minister and reach out to your family as it did to us. I pray that the hospice house will be around here for years and years to come so that they continue reaching out and touching families. God bless the hospice house.
My Aunt Evelyn was there for about 2 weeks. She was 99 years old. Jeff had her come in and stay, and it was a great experience. He was a old country girl. He was in the country, and they rode her out on the back patio in a wheelchair, and she just loved it because she got to see the cows, heard chickens up the road from her, and there at the hospice house, it's come and go, and family has a place to stay and go in and out when you want to, and then when they're about to pass, the nurses call you or the caregivers call you and tell you, did he come on in here and be here, and So it's a lot different than most places. So it's very, very unique. The good thing about the hospice house is that you don't have the money to pay. It's free of charge. There's not too many facilities that will do that privately. Yes, that's a very good cause to donate your money to. And there's a lot of people that come there to pray with people and play music and, just read the Bible to them. And so there's all kind of opportunities to get involved. But mainly we could use the financial support. Like I said before, it takes a lot to run this place, but God has been good. It's a God thing, and it was a great experience.
It's quite an honor to be able to serve. It's not every day we get to do the Lord's work, and a great cause with our hospice house. My mother was at end of life and got accepted to come to hospice house, and she was here her last 5 days. We know that our hospice house literally was heaven on earth. We walked in and we were no longer the caretakers. We were the children again. And Mother was cared for with the love and attention that she so deserved, and loved on and prayed for, and just could not ask for better care for our mother and grandmother. The day that she passed was just one of the most precious 5 minutes of my life, seeing my dad telling his wife of 70 years goodbye. And as we walked out and come down the hall, he said, "Now I want you and your sisters to become associated with our hospice house, and any free time you have to volunteer, any way they want you to volunteer, and any extra funds you have, that's where you put it." And so that's what we've tried to do since December, and what a blessing it is to volunteer and use our talents that we have for God's will here.
My name is Nikki Mayo Leshiker, and I'm here to share a story of why the hospice house is important to me. I walked into the ER with my late husband, John Mayo, and that was when the nightmare began. He was experiencing several mini strokes from a very rare autoimmune disease. For the next 3 months, we lived in the hospital together, praying for a miracle and trying every treatment possible. Finally, there came a point in time where we had to decide, was it the quality of life or the quantity of life? I knew John's wishes, so as a family, we chose to bring him home to our home. And on April 20th, I rode home in an ambulance with him and met by my kids, his mom, and Jeff and Jennifer Bates. And that was the first that I'd heard of the hospice house, the dream and the vision and the goal and the calling. And so for the next 5 months, with the assistance of part-time hospice care, very loving and dear friends and extended family, we learned how to administer medicine. And I know a lot of people say, when you hear hospice house and you think about that, you immediately think of sad and death, but that's not what we're about. We are about loving the families. We're about allowing a wife to be a wife, and a mother to be a mother, and a child to be the child. We come alongside them and we remove additional emotional stressors and the financial burden. And that's why it matters. There's an African proverb that I always think about. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, do it together. When we decided to bring John home, our options were so limited due to COVID and the uniqueness of his disease. I was one of the fortunate ones. We had a home that was handicap accessible. We had the financial ability to do that. We had a large family. All the variables lined up for us. But I think back, what if I wouldn't have had that? I didn't have that. That was not an option to have a hospice home. So I'm grateful that we have a hospice home where people can come. There's food available. There's showers for the families. There's 24-hour care. I wanted to be the wife. I didn't want to be the one checking a catheter and administering morphine. That was so hard for me. There's still trauma I experienced from that, but I was grateful for what I had, but this home provides those things for someone else. I know that God brings good out of all circumstances, and these are not mistakes. And this home is one of the most successful hospice homes in the nation. We have served more people and loved more families than in the first year than any other home in the nation. That is huge. And we do that because we had Jeff and Jen step out in faith, and we had a donor come in and say, I believe in this with you. And so it gave us the opportunity. We have financial support that's coming in now, but long term, we can't do this alone. The hospice house has been a blessing to me. It has allowed me the opportunity to give back to those in need the same way that this community rallied around me and loved me and cared for me. And so I'm asking you, please come find out what we're about. Ask any of the board members. Come walk the home, see what we're about, see the blessing that it is to so many. Again, I want you to go far with me. And on your table, you have the QR code. There's more information on it. There's ways to sign up to be monthly donors. We would love for you to partner with us.
At age 40, I went in for my first mammogram, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Towards the end of all my treatment plan through chemo, radiation, and surgery, we found out my husband, Jeff, was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer that had metastasized to the liver. Before he passed away, his wishes were not to pass away in our home that we shared with our child. We had a young child, and he was afraid of what he might think if Dad passed away in the home. He didn't want him to think of the home as being Dad passing away in it. His wishes were not to end up in a hospital. He had been in and out of the hospital stays through our local hospital and at MD Anderson, and he did not want to go back to the hospital or be in the hospital. It was then that my mom had some good friends from Temple High School, and they told her about the hospice house. Went back and told Jeff about it, and he was like, let's do this. The first few days of the hospice house, when we walked in, it felt very homey, which we loved that about it. Jeff had a really big window in his room, and it reminded him of the country where he grew up. The hospice house staff, Dr. Bates and Jennifer, Nikki, Annie, and all the caregivers cared for us greatly. They would walk in the rooms, checking on us. Jennifer would sit with me some nights and just talk, as well as Nikki pulling me aside and praying for me. My husband, Jeff, had many friends, didn't meet a stranger. There were head coaches that he coached under that walked through the doors, former coaching friends, administrators he worked for, friends from elementary school that walked through the door of the hospice house, and every one of them felt welcomed. They were able to come at any time, any hour, any second. Nobody ever stopped them. It was an open door policy, and we will be forever grateful for that and to offer kindness. They did everything with kindness and love. The hospice house is runoff of 100% donations. It took a very big burden off our shoulders. Through Jeff's care, he got full care here. He was fed and loved. You can find it in your hearts to give, to help other families that were in our situation just like ours. It would mean the world.